all, this is Hideous Tuber and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are back with another Legacy Challenge video. We are on episode 2 and today we are going to get working even further on our detective career as well as working towards completing our aspirations. Now, where we left off last time, we actually did get a fair way into getting through our aspiration by collecting a whole heap of frogs and as well as fossils, collectibles, and even crystals. Today we are also going to be working towards our detective career. We're going to try and at least get one promotion during this video, which I'm excited for, because honestly, working towards getting our max both in aspiration sense and in our job field, which is the detective career, are kind of the two main things I'm looking for with this sim in particular. And at some point, probably over the weekend for the sim, we are going to try to get her to go out, meet some people, and overall just have a good time. Or whenever she gets a day off next, because depending on the work schedule, she may be forced to work over the weekends. So where we left off last time, it is currently Wednesday morning for the sim. Obviously from the previous clip you saw that she had to run around and quickly get ready, so she did not have time to go and collect all of the collectibles, but we will do that later on in the day. And we are currently at the police precinct on her third day. We are getting a new case file so that we can go forward and work towards getting our next criminal off the streets, and then we will be going to the scene of the crime to be able to collect samples, take pictures, get fingerprints, all that fun stuff that we need to do, so that way we can expand our crime map and be able to get closer to our next promotion. Alrighty, as you can see, we are at the new crime scene. We are currently going to be getting some samples, getting some fingerprints, and all around just trying to get a description of what's happened here. So hopefully with all the information that we have been given from everything, we'll be able to finally pinpoint who was behind this crime and then interrogate them to find out when and why they did it. Alrighty, now that we're back at the precinct, we are going to do some basic stuff like cross-examine the evidence and overall just try and piece together on the crime map our clues and all that information, so that hopefully within the next couple of shifts for us we can get our criminal and interrogate them and so on and so forth, so that way we can finish up this case and then move on to the next one, which honestly is something I'm super excited for, is to work on as many cases as I can before my sim retires and we move on to the next generation. So here we are at our crime scene map. We are going to start putting together some of our little bits and pieces that we have put together over the course of today, from going to the crime scene itself, collecting all the evidence from there, and then coming back, cross-examining them. I do believe we've also analysed a couple of pieces there as well, so we are going to put a couple on the board, so that way we have some clues in order to make a formal arrest. Because after a few clues have been put onto the map, you can officially make an API, as we learned from last episode. So after that point, you can then go into the public and you are able to, arrest the subject, interrogate them, see whether they're guilty or innocent. If they're innocent, we have to go back out there and make another arrest. And if they are guilty, then, case closed, we move on to the next case. Alright, we are now home from a long day's work at the detective precinct. Now that we are home, we are going to start working towards collecting some of our collectibles, because I feel like we're getting somewhat close to being able to complete the next round of aspirations, well, the next level. So that way, once we are done there, we are able to just, move on to the next one and pretty much get started on that straight away. Because once I get the aspiration and the jobs all at max level, I'll then focus on family and kind of focus on the family aspect going forward for them. So once that's done, I can then work towards that and then finalize everything else going forward into the next generation. And eventually, what I do want to do is upgrade the house, like, redecorate and make it not the starter home anymore. Because while the starter home is working for us at the moment, at some point we will want to expand our family and then be able to have kids, and then we will most likely either upgrade on the lot that we do have, or what we'll do is once we get enough money we will we'll maybe bulldoze the lot and then move out and buy a different lot with the money that we do have. So with that, obviously we will it'll depend on where we go from there to what we end up deciding to do in later episodes. Alright, we've been at work for a little bit now, and now we're ready to do our API, which means we can make an arrest based on what evidence we have at the time. We've gotten a fair bit of evidence, so we've got a few clues about who it is. Basically, I essentially went with who I thought it was going to be, and then we'll take them back to the police precinct, and then we will pretty much interrogate them from there. And then if they are guilty, it will be case closed. If they are innocent, we will release them, and then we'll have to go redo the API and then restart from there. So it's not like you're losing too much, you're just having to redo the API sort of stuff, and like questioning people in that sort of regard, and then bringing people in. So alright, so as we can see here, we have decided to arrest this person in particular because in my head they looked like the suspect based on what information that we did have at the time. So we are going to be interrogating them, see what they know. If they end up being innocent, that is perfectly fine. And then we will be able to release them, and then we will go and do another API and then have a look at those people. And then based off that, we can then, make an arrest, interrogate them, see what they know, etc., etc. Until we pretty much get the person that we are looking for. And then once that happens, obviously that'll be case closed. We move on to a new case, and we'll see how many cases we can do before we hit, the top rank per se for this career. And in this particular instance, this person was innocent. Obviously wasn't the right person. It was probably one of the other people that were in the same vicinity, but I made the wrong decision, so we have to go back, do another API and go from there. Hopefully next time we go and do another API, we will get the right person this time. Alrighty, we are home from a long day's worth of work. Now from the last clip, you did see that this person was innocent from the interrogation, which is fine. It just means that we're going to have to get a new API and go out and try and arrest the correct person next time. Now, by the time hopefully we get to the max level of our detective career, hopefully we'll have it nailed down, so that way we will be getting it right the first time every single time. But obviously the first few levels of this career, we're going to be getting it wrong and all that, which is perfectly fine. Now we are out at the moment trying to collect the collectibles that we need. Okay, we are at work. It is the following day. Now we did end up waking up early in the morning, and we ended up going out and getting all the collectibles off screen. But we are now at work. We are now on patrol. Now I do believe I did say earlier that we already got the promotion, but I think we ended up getting it today, but don't clarify me. I do know in this episode we got at least one promotion. But, we went out on patrol. It is love day. We ended up staying out here for 2 hours, getting some hours in patrol. So that way when we come home we can focus strictly on the case that we are currently working on. But we end up, interacting with these Sims who are clearly quite angry. I swear whenever we go on patrol for some weird reason, which is normally for promotion because we're normally working on cases, right? We end up with a group of people who are angry for no other reason but to be angry and are frustrated But, we are going to try and interact with some of these Sims for a little while, so that way we can, pass some time by and, interact with the people in society and all that. Alrighty, we are now back at the precinct. Now we are currently interrogating a different suspect. Now, since obviously the previous clip, we have interrogated and arrested a different person, but that person ended up being completely innocent, so we did have to let them go, and we ended up having to get a third API, so that way we could go and hopefully make the third and final arrest, which we did, and it turns out that this person was the person that was guilty, so which is honestly amazing, which means we can now officially close this case, and that way we are able to move on to a different case, obviously within when we get around to doing the next sort of casework and all that. Now, the two clips that we do have at the moment with this particular suspect is taken over 2 different shifts. This is mainly because when we first tried to get the confession out of them the first time, we ended up having our shift end right as we were taking them behind the bars again, and so we weren't able to fully get the confession out of them the first time around, which is perfectly fine. It just means we have to get the confession out of them the following morning, which as you can see we did, but it just took a little bit more time in the morning, which could have been spent more productively, but obviously we got this done, and then we could go home and then get to work on having fun and all of that fun stuff. But it's also really amazing to be able to officially close this case in particular and move on to a new one. But we will be going home and we will be getting the collectibles and all that fun stuff from after the first shift that we ended up doing. Alrighty, we are now back home after the first shift that we ended up getting the almost confession out of the person that we ended up finding guilty of the crime. So we are now home. We are currently getting all of the collectibles ready and brought home, which we are always excited to get the collectibles, out of the way and prepared for. So once we get the collectibles done, we're going to wrap up the episode because, we want to be able to start off fresh and work towards some new aspirations going forward for the next episode. So basically what my goals are for the next episode is to be able to, 1, hopefully get at least 1, maybe 2 more promotions during that episode, and hopefully maybe even complete the aspirations in the next episode, which I'm excited for. But it will just depend on the quests and what we still need to get done. But until next time, we'll see everyone later. Hopefully we have an episode out next week. So I'll see everyone later. Bye.